February 23rd, 2017, and this is my audience. It's 10 p.m. and it's pitch black outside. You're driving home after seeing a movie on Friday, and all of a sudden, bam, you just struck a 150-pound deer. Your car is now totaled and you're stuck on the side of the road waiting for a tow truck to come. Can you imagine how many more deer would claim cars as their victim if there was not hunters helping control wildlife? Hunters help protect and control wildlife management all throughout the year, not only with population control, but so much more. Teaching non-hunters about the benefit of having hunters protect wildlife management is key to a happy civilization. Today, I would like to talk about 3 things hunters do to help benefit wildlife management. First, they help maintain wildlife population to a safe number. Second, hunters pay for the bulk of wildlife management. Third, hunters join sportsman clubs in order to band together and buy or conserve wildlife habitat and help lobby laws to create policies and protect wildlife. First, I'm going to talk about how hunters help maintain population to safe numbers. They maintain the population to safe numbers by having a season for each certain type of animal and a certain number that each hunter is allowed to kill. There are also certain times that you can hunt each animal so it will not be overhunted. What would happen if populations are not maintained in this area? There aren't a whole lot of predators, so populations will grow rapidly with no stop, which causes disaster in wildlife and harm to us. According to the International Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies, 4% of nations' 6.1 million car accidents each year involve wildlife. Without hunting management, it would increase to 218%. How large populations of deer can ruin agriculture. Large populations of deer and other animals can completely ruin a farmer's entire crop, which affects his family and the community. The next topic to think about is hunters paying for a bulk of wildlife conservation funds. How the hunters pay for wildlife conservation. There's a tax on guns, ammunition, bows, arrows, and other hunting-related equipment. Also, the state hunting license fee can only be used for wildlife management and fund projects like conduct research, improving habitats, and wildlife reintroduction. State wildlife agencies couldn't survive without hunters. They provide 70% of financial funding over the past 70 years. If hunting ceased, who would pay for wildlife management? Hunting helps give people a more organic lifestyle as well. Eating locally grown is becoming bigger and bigger. Meat from hunting doesn't go through chemicals like meat at the grocery store. Hunting wild game provides lean, free-range protein. Plus, you get the satisfaction of gathering food for your family. We've talked about wildlife population and how hunters help conserve wildlife. Finally, I would like to talk about how hunters join sportsman clubs in order to band together and buy or conserve wildlife habitat, and the groups help also to lobby laws and policies. What are sportsmen's clubs and what do they do? They are a group of people who are joined together that enjoy hunting or fishing. Groups like Ducks Unlimited and Pheasants Forever support and conduct conservation and restoration across all sorts of habitats. The clubs will buy land together in order to keep it private. They do that to conserve habitats for healthy animals and wildlife. The clubs will also partner with state and federal agencies on large-scale conservation to lobby laws to benefit wildlife. So now you can see how hunters benefit wildlife management in more ways than one. Today I've talked about 3 ways that hunters help to positively impact wildlife management. They maintain wildlife population, hunters pay for a bulk of wildlife conservation, and hunters join sportsman clubs in order to band together and buy or conserve wildlife habitat, and groups to help lobby laws or policies to benefit wildlife. Now let's remember that deer that ran in front of you in the beginning of the speech, and all the new positive benefits that you have learned about. Hunters are needed in every wildlife area. Theodore Roosevelt said, "In a civilized, cultivated country, wild animals only continue to exist at all when preserved by sportsmen. The excellent people who protest against all hunting and consider sportsmen as enemies of wildlife are ignorant of the fact that in reality, the genuine sportsman is by all odds the most important factor in keeping the larger and more valuable wildlife creatures from total extermination." And this is an example of a nice deer in this area that was able to grow well in the wildlife habitat that hunters were able to keep nice and conserve. And this is my audience again. Thanks for listening to my speech.